Hello there, darlings. Welcome to the Clockwork Cabaret. They are old, they are not hip. They are the weird answers that you didn't know you needed or wanted. And now, for a friendly reminder, this show is for adults. That darling DJ duo, Emmett Davenport and Lady Attercop, drink cocktails, have potty mouths, and at least one of them was raised by wolves.
Sound of the cuckoo, you know that it's time for the Clockwork Cabaret.
Hooray!
I am Emmett Davenport.
And I am Lady Attercop.
And this week, I'd like to talk about weird coronavirus COVID times experiences.
Oh, I have an experience that is unrelated to the COVID. But
no, you could make it related. It can be related.
Not necessarily based in our current reality. So listeners, we are recording this. We record this ahead of time. We are recording this on March 1st.
Yes.
It is, and we are faced with the fact that it is once again March, but somehow never felt like it left March.
It's March. March is eternal. March is forever.
March is the alpha and the omega, and also the metric by which we will be judged.
It is the month.
So we're kind of a little disconnected from reality to begin with.
Yes.
Because like many of our listeners, we are now coming up on a year in quarantine. It has been a year since we've seen each other in the flesh, in the meat space.
It's true. It's weird.
God, it's very strange. And then the week that preceded this has been surrealistic.
That's a word.
I know it's a word.
You even said it right.
I did pronounce it properly. That is a strange and unique instance of me actually understanding the actual definition of a word and then also pronouncing it properly. But I don't feel like surreal is quite the right terminology. Kind of magical realism, but bad. Is that a term?
Oh yeah. So I was actually commenting on how we're in the 100 years of solitude, but without the magical loveliness of it.
Yeah,
there's no golden showers of petals or golden fish giving you rings out of a pond or.
It's like, what if Spirited Away, but instead of also intermixed with the kind of horror elements, there was no whimsy. It was just all bad. It was just all real bad, and that was last week.
Wouldn't that be Princess Mononoke?
No, Princess Mononoke had a theme, and
that's true. That's true.
And then a badass lady that was fighting against. Just like all of the really upsetting elements of Spirited Away.
Yes, yeah.
Which of all the Miyazuki films, to me, is the most upsetting, because there's just some real upsetting imagery in that for me personally. Don't know about other people, but there's just some real, maybe because I've worked a lot of retail, there's just a lot of upsetting shit in that movie. And it's like that, but without the whimsical parts, without the nice parts.
Okay, so I think the build up, I think you've done the build up quite well, and I'm not sure if your story is gonna.
It'll hold up.
Okay. So
because everyone on Twitter has already heard it, and let me tell you.
Okay, so please, Lady Attercop, tell me of your horrific, unpleasant, Miyazaki-esque nightmare.
But bad Miyazaki.
Yes. Well, yeah.
So the week began that I slipped and fell on ice and injured the absolute shit out of my back on a day that reached 70 degrees. 'Cause I think that sets the stage.
The irony.
That in the morning there was invisible ice that I slipped and fell upon, and then like whanged my back onto the steps that I fell on. And then later on that day it was 70 degrees and I was limping because I'd fallen on ice.
That's
So just kind of sets the stage for the week. That was the beginning of my week.
For our listeners who are not locally based, North Carolina weather is weird.
And just otherwise known as North Carolina winter.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
Yeah, and it didn't rain. It was just the condensation had frozen.
Yeah.
And it was invisible, and I slipped and fell on it. And that was the same week that I watched a person pull their mask down and sneeze into the air.
Oh, yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to sneeze into the mask.
No.
Because why would you? You can't spread germs that way. I heard someone sneeze and I went, bless you. And I turned and I saw the girl with the mask below her chin and she had sneezed just into the atmosphere. And I just turned around and left.
That's like you do.
Because in that instance, what else do you do?
Yeah.
And then I slipped on some invisible ice on a day that rounded up to 70 degrees. And then I went to work, limping and injured and cursing the world. And we are in this kind of transitionary period between winter and spring, where winter's harshness still bites at our heels, but spring's warmth and light and promise still exists. We start to see the glimmer of hope on the horizon. And that, I think, is where I went astray. I believed the glimmer of hope on the horizon.
It drew you into a false sense of security.
It was not a new dawn. It was something else on fire.
And what was it? What was it, Lady Attercop?
It was my sanity. Because, as many of you know, I work in a salon. And it's usually very chill. And I was the client. I was in the seat. I was getting my hair cut, and I was very happy because my hair was getting a little crunchy and just need a little touch up. And as I was sitting there, it was just me and my coworker, and the light was starting. We were in the gloaming. If you're familiar with that term, the light was leaching quickly out of the sky. Everything was starting to turn a little dim and a little surreal. And a clown showed up. A full-on clown with balloon animals.
Was it a small woman clown?
I do not know how it identified, and I don't want to know. And normally, I would never refer to someone whose gender is in question as it, but this is a clown.
Okay, yeah.
And it's their very essence is in question. I don't know. It's a clown.
I know. I just having worked at that salon myself, I once had an experience, a visitation.
A visitation from the same clown.
From a mute, quiet clown.
Yeah, but this clown is not an unknown entity to the triangle at large. This is not a bit. This is a real thing that has happened on Emmett to me on multiple occasions.
If it is the same clown, yes. When I worked at the salon, that clown came into the salon, handed me a balloon animal, and I said, "Oh, thank you." And then it handed me a note that said, "Give me money."
Yeah.
To which I then handed the balloon animal back and said, "Get out. There's no soliciting here."
It gets weirder.
So
I can't remember if the clown had a mask on because I didn't want to make eye contact with them.
How could you tell? Like, would the clown mask? Would it have a mask that was a smile on it, or would it be?
Okay, you're making me recall.
I'm sorry.
Details of the clown that I am trying to suppress, but no, the clown was not wearing a mask. Which even if it was a creature of this
Of the night.
world and of this reality, that's upsetting on many levels.
Yeah.
And maybe why it didn't cross over the threshold of the salon.
Oh, well, good. Also,
but I also think that maybe just because we hadn't invited it in and some kind of clown, like
Vampire?
fairy clown rules.
maybe
Yeah.
clowns have the same rules as vampires.
Yeah, so like as I'm getting, we are at the station closest to the door, and as I'm getting my hair trimmed, this clown just kind of starts rapping on the window of the door
That's not
of
right.
the salon.
Nope.
And so we kind of crack the door open. So at that point, what else are you gonna do? And the clown had a balloon animal and a sign asking for money, and
that's a big pile of nope. That's a big pile of nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
we asked the clown to leave. With oh no, we don't have anything for you, because I assume that you want to be paid in blood, marrow, or teeth, and I'm using all of those things right now, so you're just gonna have to go. And we sent the clown on their way to the next location.
Or does the clown?
There is nothing. Yeah, and again, fairy rules. I know that if an unasked for creature of an otherworldly nature comes and knocks on your door, you fairy rules say you have to give them something. You have to give them food, you have to give them drink, you have to give them coin.
I think that's a scam.
You can't send them on their way without some kind of payment, or else.
I think that's a scam created by the fairy community to make sure that they get stuff.
Fairy things.
The bad fairies want stuff, and they have made this rule so that we as humans have to give them things. That's my theory.
And well, my question is, so I was thinking, oh well, me slipping and falling on ice that didn't exist in 2 hours. That was I can't be cursed by the clown because I had already fallen before that. But perhaps I was already cursed.
Yeah,
that's why I fell on hidden ice, and the clown was the only creature that could
I think you're
broken this curse. And I sent them on their way.
Also, that clown needed a child as payment, because that's how you get more clowns. You have to give them a child so that they will become a clown.
And maybe that's why.
And that's how they exist.
It was only me and another stylist in the salon, and neither of us have children,
right.
And we are now both past childbearing age, so we can't promise our firstborn to this death clown.
So that's my opinion is that no, what they wanted was a child.
And we could not offer that.
You could not give that.
We had no children of our own to offer.
Because how else do you
only have cats?
That's the only way you can become a clown, is that you have to be freely given to a clown that asks. Of course, a clown has to perform a task for you, or entertainment, and you have to be entertained, and as payment for such, you then.
Mr. Ducky only narrowly escaped the clown lifestyle. It had its tendrils into him.
Well, I too am slightly fascinated by clowns, but also terrified by them.
He performed as a clown.
I did perform as a clown, but
he was a hobo clown.
He was a hobo clown. I performed as a clown for a burlesque troupe. Because
that doesn't count. That's pervert clown. Pervert clowns don't count.
It is a pervert clown. But I will tell you that poor Rupert will never let me live it down, because he did not appreciate it when I came home.
Pervert clowns don't count because those are just like.
Yes. Again. Oh no, I wasn't a legally registered clown. Clowns don't come after me. I wasn't. Yeah, I know.
Pervert clowns don't count. Juggalos don't count.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, the worthy kids clowns don't count.
Yes. Yeah.
But every other clown, this was definitely an otherworldly clown. I mean, shows up in a gloaming, knocks on the door, won't pass the threshold, asks for payment, and shakes a balloon, and did not offer us the balloon animal, I will say.
Well, that's
but did have the balloon animal ready to strike a bargain.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know if I
they may have
escaped.
they may have learned from past experience to not hand people the balloon animal, because that was the problem that I had, was that,
Well, I mean, because once you accept the balloon animal, a pact has been made. So I
oh
don't know if I
no.
escaped. I don't know if I
Wait,
escaped the
I
curse.
took the
You
balloon
took the
animal,
balloon
but
animal.
then I gave it back.
Yeah, but
What
once
is
a
that?
pact has been formed, a pact has been formed. I'm not saying you're clown cursed. I'm just saying you're probably clown cursed.
Oh, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah. And you know what happened? Look what happened. Look where we are, Emmett.
Oh no, is the COVID times because I didn't take the balloon animal?
You didn't give payment for the balloon. No, it's because you took the balloon animal and
But I
didn't give
gave it
payment.
back. I gave
Doesn't
it.
matter. Once like once
But
once you make a pact with Rumpelstiltskin, you can't be like, we'll
they've
take all this gold back now.
they've done studies that show that monkeys, like monkey brain, when you hand things to people, people just automatically take them.
That's how the fairies
That's
get ya.
that's how I get Ducky to throw things away for me
No,
all
I
the
know.
time.
No, if Ducky had been there, well, no, actually,
No,
Ducky's phobia of clowns because he spent time
as
in the
a
clown
clown.
dimension.
Yeah.
It might have saved him, but
Yes.
yeah, no.
No, I constantly hand things to him because I think it's
Okay.
funny. I
He
hand
always
things to him
takes
and then
them.
say, "Please throw that away for me."
He always takes. He can't help
Well,
it.
no, I do it to a lot of people. It's not just him, but
Well, with him, it is his OCD. He can't help.
yes.
And I
Yes.
abuse that constantly
Yeah.
by just handing him random garbage.
Yeah.
But
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 it's
making fun of people's mental illness aside, this is a fairy pact.
so.
Fairies know that. See?
Oh, so does that mean that I have to go find this clown and give them payment for the
I
balloon
think
animal that I didn't take,
I
that I
think
didn't keep
yeah,
a
no,
decade ago?
I think the clown demands payment. And before you think we're making this up, this clown has been around the triangle for at least a decade.
Yes, no,
And
it's
has
true. I
never
really
no
wish.
one has ever enjoyed it.
No, I really wish that it wasn't true, because the time that it gave me the balloon animal was not the first time that I had a run in with it. That was just
And
the
Mr.
last
Ducky
time.
has also had a run-in with this clown.
Yes, in the it was
triangle.
in the cafe,
In the greater triangle area,
yeah, and he told me about it, and I felt really bad that he had to deal
Yes,
with
I
that.
came home from work and he was very drunk and I was like, "Why are you this drunk on a Tuesday?" He was like, "I saw a clown!" And then all was forgiven. And also like I also feel like we should point out that I don't have a problem with people who busk or panhandle or any of that other stuff. I honestly don't. I don't care. Like especially if you're busking, you're working hard for money, and if you're panhandling, your life sucks. I don't have a problem with any of that. This clown has like, but if
Has
you're dressing like a
terrorized.
clown, theoretically you're trying to bring joy to people.
Yeah, but
This
you
clown
don't.
has never brought joy to anyone ever.
No.
It has only brought fear and intimidation for over a decade.
Yes. Yeah.
Emmett, I think I know a way that we can break this curse.
Okay. Does it
It's
mean that I have to give money?
no, it's
Because I
fairy
don't have
rules.
any. Because I'm very poor. Okay.
No,
Do
it's
I have to
fairy
put
rules.
cream out?
Close. Alcohol.
Oh.
I happen to have in my possession 4 local beers that I will never drink because they make me very ill. Because my physiology is a joke.
So
I say
So we put a sign on it that says "if for free for clowns," and
no, we
leave
just
them.
put it out. We just put it out.
Oh.
That's the rule.
Okay.
You can't admit that you are leaving the offering for the otherworldly creature. You just have to leave the offering.
Okay.
So I'm going to take these beers.
Okay.
And I'm going to put them outside of the salon, which is the last place, as far as we know, that the clown was sighted.
Yes.
And
well, we know that the clown will come back because that clown has returned multiple times to that location.
So we assume that the salon is near the nexus of wherever this clown crosses over into our reality. We put the beer outside the salon, and then if the beer is taken, we can assume the curse has been lifted.
Excellent.
I mean, if the beer doesn't get taken, I don't know what the next step will be. We might have to watch a lot of Supernatural to figure it out. I think it's going to involve a shotgun full of rock salt.
And some glitter.
And maybe glitter.
So that's all I know.
And maybe a unicorn. But we'll get there when we get there.
Okay. First things first. Let's leave an offering. And on that note, I'm going to press a button.
Dear gentlemen and sirs, you know the call to action. Surely you've noticed in your careers as gentlemen adventurers that for all our sublunary escapades we often suffer from what has heretofore been an unmentionable ailment. Well, suffer no longer. With the advent of Sir Thomas Buckshill Wentworth's mentholated monocle balm, you'll be rid of the uncomfortable chafing and dryness that accompanies the life of a monocle wearer. Gone is the shame of a wind-chapped eye, swollen shut in pain. No longer will your unmonocled eye weep with discomfort.
Oh, my eye!
But rather with pleasure and pure mentholated joy. I urge you, the gentleman adventurer, to purchase this helpful product immediately.
Now, here comes the music.
Do I look bothered?
Oh, you are awful, but I like you.
Midwest Radio.
So, Lady Attercop, tell me a story about carnies.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
What were you?
I thought we were going to discuss all that a good chunk of our song titles sounded like the titles of my AO3 fics.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to talk about that, but we could totally talk about that if you want. I was going to go in a different...
We started cracking up because it sounded like some of these sounded like Daft Punk fan fictions. But that's neither here nor there.
That you write under Lord Helmet.
Yes, everyone involves a helmet, and you said that Destro would be involved, and I was like, no.
I think I was thinking the movie version of Destro, not
the cartoon version. Obviously, is the superior version.
Well,
and
obviously,
he would not be involved in my fanfics because his head is bronzed.
Yes, his mouth
as you
moves.
Can tell from his moving lips,
which I completely forgot about. I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I watched G.I. Joe.
Please.
I'm sorry.
Please respect my weird, kinky mask fanfic.
I'm sorry.
No, but speaking of something less disturbing, carnies.
Yes.
No, not
I
at all.
don't
I'm
understand.
from Florida, so you're going to have to narrow down your carny request.
Oh.
As in people who worked for carnivals, people who seem like they should work for carnivals. The time I got hit on by a clown.
Okay.
That was
so
part of a carnival.
Well, here, I will open the floor by telling the story of my carny experience, and then you can take it from there.
I can jump in.
So, when I was a young lass of teenage years, and I lived in Vermont, like you do.
It's already bad.
It's already bad. My next door neighbors decided one year, I think it was my junior year of high school, we had only lived in the town for about 3 or 4 years at that point. So,
so you were newbies.
Fairly new, yeah. We were told consistently that we didn't count as New Englanders until we had lived there at least 20 years, and even then we didn't necessarily count because we couldn't trace our lineage back far enough
because your ancestors hadn't slaughtered the Native Americans that lived there before.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff there. But anyway, so our neighbors suddenly, in the third or fourth year that we had lived next door to them, they decided that they were going to become carnies themselves. How we discovered this was because at the end of the summer, all of a sudden there was a tilt-a-whirl parked in their backyard.
You know,
like you do.
Like you do.
Just randomly. And
Park a carnival.
Yes, and the middle child happened to be a friend of mine, and she was absolutely totally mortified by the whole prospect of the fact that her family had gone from being just kind of poor
regular weirdos
to being carny weirdos.
Yeah.
And her older brother and her dad were now the owners and operators of a tilt-a-whirl.
Oh God.
And I just remember standing in the backyard looking over at it, and poor Faith would just go, please kill me. Please kill me now. like I only have one more it's like I have one more month and then I get to go to college and I get to go away from all of this. But please.
I was born and raised in Florida, and that in and of itself is like, freak show material. And as weird as that is, as weird as my entire existence of living in Florida is, yeah, I cannot imagine as like a sophomore.
Yeah, well, she was a senior. She had just graduated. She had just graduated. She had just graduated from high school.
Navigate being the daughter of the Carney family suddenly.
She had just graduated from high school. She was on her way to go to college. In this, in the fall, she was heading off to college. And that at the end of the summer, all of a sudden, this tilt-a-whirl ended up in her backyard.
Suddenly a tilt-a-whirl threw it off of kilter.
Yeah, and
which ironically is what tilt-a-whirls do.
And I just remember she and I standing in my backyard while she just went, oh.
And I also feel like we should throw another caveat in here. Where, like, as we did before, like how I don't personally have a problem with buskers or street performers, and have known plenty of buskers and street performers, have even known clowns. As shocking as that admission may be, don't have a problem. Like, we have both, Emmett and I have known plenty of Rennies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People travel with Ren fairs. We've known traveling musicians. We have known people who live in caravans and like live, what
would typically be not normal.
A good chunk of society would deem an unusual lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. Chase your bliss.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? If you want to be a clown or a juggalo or a carnival, we've both also known sword swallowers and fire breathers. At least I have.
Oh no, I have as well.
Yeah, like people who work freak shows. Like, hey man, you do you. Chase your bliss. Do what makes you happy. But there is something especially upsetting about just having a normal life and then suddenly a carnival ride erupts into your backyard. It's much like a clown that doesn't actually bring anyone joy, but just upsets them.
I think
suddenly showing up outside of your place of business.
Well, so to me, it's more of the fact that the carnival, like being a performer in a carnival, okay, right. Being a carnival ride operator seems a little. Those rides aren't great.
No.
And they're sketchy. They're sketchy as hell. So
and not to stereotype, but a lot of times, like, the people who are running them are equally sketchy.
Yeah. And so and the fact that it became for the next 2 summers.
A thing that like they had been born into this.
No,
it was just like one day they're like, "Hey, Bubba, we're gonna go buy a tilt-a-whirl."
Yeah, no, it was. I don't quite remember how it came to be that they ended up with a tilt-a-whirl, but
it doesn't matter.
It was there, and it was it was.
It's kind of like, you know what it's like? I have a good analogy for it, as well as so. As we've said before, there's nothing wrong with being a performer. There's nothing wrong with being a performer who travels. This is the swap shop circus. And for non-self-Floridians, I'm gonna have to explain the swap shop circus.
It's a
the swap shop.
It's a sad circus.
It's so sad. It is perhaps the world's. This is the place that I went as a child as a small, impressionable child, I went to the circus and I left depressed because
Oh.
I could feel the sadness coming off the elephant.
Oh, there
The
was an
one
elephant? Oh.
lone
Oh,
elephant
the one
that
lone
they
elephant.
had that
Oh.
sadly performed under a spotlight.
Oh, that makes me sad. And it's 20, 30 years, 40 years later, and I'm
It
sad.
is a good 20. It's at least. So I was probably 12 when I saw this sad elephant. I am 43. So yeah, like 30 years.
Oh.
Um so the swap shop, if you're not from South Florida and you're not familiar, Ducky and I lived a couple blocks away. Hey, it is a large outdoor flea market that has a drive-in movie theater and a farmer's market, and was, when we were children, circus themed. And the reason it was circus themed was because they got themselves an elephant, and goddamn if they weren't gonna theme everything around that one sad elephant that they bought from God knows where. I don't even know. I do
Well,
not know where the dude that owned the swap
so
shop got the elephant. The dude that owned the swap shop, incidentally, one time got arrested by cops in Broward County and had to be tasered in his 70s because he wouldn't come quietly. So let's just set the stage. So there were
I know that
questionable carnival rides.
Well, I know that, like, I mean, not having grown up in Florida, but I know that historically, that's what everyone else in the United States has been told is Florida is where the circus people go to rest during the winter months.
I mean,
So
that there's a certain part of that is true.
so I
And
just
yeah,
I
like,
just
just
assumed that he bought it off of some circus.
yeah, people who were too sad and too depressed to continue to travel
Yeah.
sold him an elephant, and he themed his entire flea market around it. Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
there were
that's
the
all right.
questionable, super sketchy carnival rides that were just set up all year long, and 2 times a day there was the Swap Sop Circus, which was watch the world's saddest elephant perform for you in a spotlight by itself, because we only have the one elephant. It's not like they're pack animals and that they need the presence of their fellows to feel like whole and okay. If any of you who are of our age bracket are familiar with the show Jackass, remember Jackass?
I vaguely
remember
remember it.
Do you remember a certain
I remember
individual
idiot boys
without the sense that God gave a cockroach by the name of Steve-O,
Oh,
who
yes.
got a tattoo of himself on his back?
Oh,
He was like a knife and a guy, but did not have any sense of self preservation.
or self-worth.
He worked as a clown at the swap shop.
Oh.
He is from my area, and he worked at the world's saddest circus. So yeah, that's my carnival. Eventually, the circus in the swap shop got shut down because animal rights activists just kept complaining. Because again, you could feel the depression off of the elephant every time you saw it walk around its sad little, like, it had a little stand that, like, it walked around and then stood on and held its trunk up, and it was as depressing as you're thinking it is, while people are eating in the food court and haggling with disreputable tattoo artists. My first tattoo I ever got, I got it in a tattoo shop where they had an autoclave and artists that knew what they were doing, and it wasn't expensive. I paid like maybe $50 for it. It was a little tiny piece of flash. And I had people telling me I paid way too much, could have gotten it cheaper down at the swap shop. That's the kind of place we're talking about. Do you not have hepatitis C? Would you like to get hepatitis C? I can tell you where you can go.
No. Oh, yeah, no, that's no, thank you.
You can get permanent makeup in the back of some guy's van at the swap shop.
I bet he'll give you free
Buy
candy
shrimp
too.
off the side of the road from a dude who's had him in a melted cooler for God knows how many hours at the swap shop.
There's a van offering free candy right outside the
There's
swap shop.
probably they don't have they have clowns at the swap shop, but they're all Steve-O. Come on down. And if they're not Steve-O, don't get in their vans for God's sake. At the swap shop.
Oh yeah, no. All right, that went way darker
The
than I
owner
had.
of
I was
the,
really
the
hoping.
owner of the flea market got tased by the cops in his 70s at the swap
I
shop.
was really hoping for some light-hearted, funny.
You
Oh,
asked me
why
about
did
the
I-
world's saddest elephant. I had to tell you. But like this episode started with a clown
I know, but I was.
knocking at the window of my place of employment. How else was it
I
gonna end?
know. I
Emmett?
should have.
Does this mean I have to mail one of these questionable beers down to my mom in South Florida so she can just leave it outside the swap shop?
I think you should just send them all
Send them all to Florida.
to the
At
swap
the
shop.
swap shop.
Send them to the swap shop. I'm sure someone will need them.
Oh, someone will definitely need them.
No.
But
Oh.
for what, we have no
I
idea.
don't want to
What
know.
dark incantation will they will they
What will
birth
we? Yes. What will
at
we?
the swap shop?
What have we wrought with this episode? I am so sorry. I should.
Like, well, I
mean, it's not any weirder than anything else we've ever
mean, no,
talked
no.
about.
I feel
so-
like this is right on. This is like on par,
or as the kids say, on brand.
on brand.
We should
this
start
is our vibe.
We should totally
just
start our own TikTok.
We're just vibing here with the horror clowns.
We should totally start our own TikTok where it's nothing but horror clowns.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Because that would mean I'd
I
have to actually
mean-
interact with clowns. And it's going to get horrible real fast.
I have been hit on by. I have known several clowns. Besides Mr. Ducky.
Weirdly, I have too, and I don't like it.
I one of my best friends in college, her roommate was a clown for bringing Ringling Brothers and Bart and Bailey.
Oh, that's a fancy high-class clown.
She used to walk up and down the dorm room halls in her stilts so that she could, stay in.
Oh, Rupert was trying to get me to try out stilts, but I think
Oh,
it was more,
you'll just fall and bust your butt.
well, yeah, it was. I think it was more of because I couldn't reach the top shelf of something.
Well, yeah.
I'm just short.
You're just short.
I don't.
Don't,
I have
stilts will not solve the problem.
Also, I have a step stool. That's all I need.
Yeah, you don't have to summon a dark lord of the clown otherworld for a step stool. I feel like once you get on stilts, that you're just flirting with some
Yeah, it's
dark,
like a unicycle.
unknowable powers.
It's kind of like a unicycle. Like that is also an instrument of the devil.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in the triangle that ride unicycles, and I still do not know how I feel about them. I think they might be in league with that clown.
Probably.
I'm gonna need some rock salt in a
They're
shotgun.
they're gonna hand you a balloon animal at
They're
any
just
time.
nope.
And
I'm just gonna have to start blasting people with salt. And I'm sorry, Carborough. I'm coming for you. And me and the Winchester brothers. Clearly, you're cursed.
and with that,
Yeah.
I think we've come to the end of this show. And with that,
If you like this thing we do, or if you know what kind of sigils and holy relics I can put around my salon so that I don't get cursed by any more clowns, you can contact us by going to agonyauntstudios.com. There you will find all of our social media pages. Emmett is usually at Emmett Davenport or Mad Spintrist. I am always at Lady Attercop. You can find all of the information for the show. And if you would like to help support it, say by donating to our Patreon or sending us a one-time donation on PayPal, or just by recommending, I can speak a bit English, recommending us to a friend, all of our stuff is there. Do it on, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and that helps drive us up the charts so that people can find us. We are now on Mad Wasp Radio.
Yes.
Yes. I did a thing right. So you can listen to this show with the music, with us blathering, on internet radio.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. And with that, this has been the Clockwork Cabaret. She is Lady Attercop.
And she's Emmett Davenport.
And it's not work we do.
It's love.
Lady Butterscotch's feminine hygiene products. Let us never speak of them again.
This is Mad Wasp Radio, home of the hits.